Just gotta get this out really quick.
Has so much nervous energy.
No, I just really like this pen. It's a new pen.
It's a new pen. I like how your version of the Price is Right music sounds like Blue from Blue's Clues. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Who Is My Doctor?
Who is my doctor?
Who is indeed. I'm your host, Zach, and I know a lot about Doctor Who.
And I'm also your host, Cassie. And you know what, Zach?
What's that, Cassie?
If we stop the podcast right now, I feel like I know enough. I'm good. I've seen all I need to see.
That's a pretty big if. I'm going to say no. Because I like doing this with you, and we're really close to our 100th episode. That'd be real lame to end on 95. We are lame enough without stopping too soon.
True.
Today we're going to watch the 1996 TV movie Doctor Who, the movie.
1996?
Yep.
That makes this movie exactly 29 years old.
Yeah, this movie is basically as old as you are.
Almost.
In fact, it's actually slightly older than you are. It came out on May the 12th, 1996.
Whoa.
Which means it almost came out on my birthday. My birthday is May 11th. It came out the day after that.
Are you sure you want to release that information, Zach?
I'm not private with it.
Nah.
But yes, this was the first co-production that was had between America and at the time Fox.
Woo.
To release, to try and make Doctor Who an American show as opposed to a British show.
So this was during, this was during the time between times, yeah?
Yes. So the show went off the air in 1989. And the producer of this joined the BBC basically the same time. He joined in 1989, and he really wanted to work on Doctor Who, but the heads of the BBC were done with it. They had canceled it. Ironically, they canceled it on an episode called Survival.
Those cheeky folks.
I think that the writers did that on purpose. I think they had specifically done that because they thought the show could...
They were manifesting while they were writing the
basically,
episode.
Yeah, I think they were specifically thinking, hey, the show has lasted this long. There's no reason to think it can't come back one day. And a guy that had recently joined the BBC, his name was Philip David Siegel, had joined, and he really wanted to get Doctor Who off. Like, he wanted to get Doctor Who going again, but the executives at the BBC were like, "We just canceled this. We're not gonna start it up again because that would make us liars and look like idiots." However, they were interested in making it. I believe the show wasn't popular in America in the same way that it was in the UK, but it had found a following on PBS. It needed more funding than the BBC was really willing to give it to keep up with modern times. Like, you've seen the classic series, you know what that looks like.
Yeah.
It doesn't look anything like the modern series in terms of like production level.
No.
And so they really wanted to elevate it and bring it up to snuff with modern television. And they thought the only way they could do that was by having a co-production with America. Well, Philip Siegel eventually moved from the BBC to Amblin Entertainment, where he became part of Amblin Television.
Amblin is the same company that...
Amblin is Steven Spielberg's production company.
Okay, thank you.
Meaning that, yes, this movie is, in fact, produced by Steven Spielberg.
Cool. Did he have his hands in creating any of it, or no?
I would be very surprised if he did. I don't believe he did. I don't even think his name is in the credits, to be honest with you. But it is created by Amblin Entertainment. It is and it was produced for Fox, the television network. Mm-hmm. And so when they went into production for this...
So it was intentionally a TV movie then?
Yes, this was intended to be a TV movie to leap it into... This is basically meant to be the pilot for what would be the American production, assuming the TV movie did well enough.
Gotcha.
It didn't, unfortunately. But I think it's a really interesting piece of media because it comes out in such a midpoint between all these other things. This is a few years before The Curse of Fatal Death that came out in 1999. So this was before Rowan Atkinson and all of his shenanigans. But this was a few years after the Seventh Doctor's last story. And it's also a little less than a decade before Christopher Eccleston will take over as the Ninth Doctor. It's just this weird little microcosm that basically could only happen for this one time, because to make this movie required 4 different companies to agree on things.
Well, that, and also when you look at what was not necessarily what was happening in the world, but what was popular in the world at that time.
Yeah.
We were just coming out of the 80s.
Yeah, I mean,
with Star Wars and the idea of space and time travel being way more prominent, especially when you look at the US. I can't say what was popular in 1996. I was joining the party only halfway through.
I mean, I will say that specifically this would have been shortly after Star Trek The Next Generation stopped airing. We probably would have been into Star Trek. Is it Deep Space Nine or Voyager? There's like Star Trek is still a big thing. Star Wars hadn't really come back yet, so we're in this lull. So it's definitely trying to like capture something that they know there's an audience for, but they can't quite figure out how to do it.
There is a void that somebody went, what if Doctor Who?
Yeah, and I appreciate that Philip Siegel specifically wanted this to get made so bad he spent 7 years getting it made.
Yeah,
because he started at the BBC in 1989. And could not get it out until he went to a different country and a different company in 1996. So as it is a special episode, I have 4 Cassie Profassi questions for you.
What?
So especially because this is the only time we'll ever get to do the 8th Doctor. We're never going to get to do this again unless we did like a Big Finish audio drama, which I don't know. I don't know that that's good for the podcast because they're so difficult to access. Although,
I mean, I was going to say,
although the show is difficult to access
presently right now, everything is difficult to access.
Yeah,
even what we're about to watch. Is this something that is available anywhere for streaming?
I actually don't know, to be honest with you. I specifically bought it because I wanted to buy it. I didn't go hunting to see if it was streaming somewhere. I know it's not streaming with the other stuff on Tubi. I'm assuming it's probably available to stream in the UK on the BBC iPlayer or whatever it is.
I only wondered because it is American made.
Yeah, it's interesting because because it was a joint project, there's multiple hands in the cookie jar here, where I believe within the UK, the BBC still has distribution rights, but in America, Disney has those rights now because Disney bought Fox. But Amblin is part of Universal. So Universal also has a hand in that cookie jar. So I'm sure there's a lot of weirdness to go along with here. But with that in mind, I have, like as I said, I have 4 Cassie Profassi questions for you. But if you would like, I have a fun little production list for you here.
Ooh.
So obviously, when they were making this movie, they had to take up the task of casting a new Doctor. This is the first time an American production got to do that, and so they felt like they had more options than maybe the BBC had, because the BBC was limited to smaller name British actors who maybe were known for like other TV work on the BBC, but they weren't like household names. Meanwhile, American productions typically want, maybe even need, a bigger name to carry a television show. Obviously, they ended up going with, I think, relative unknown Paul McGann, who we both think is a beautiful man.
Oh, yes.
Wonderfully cast. And you haven't even really seen him go at the part yet, I think, but I'm excited for you to see that.
In my brain, as I'm remembering what Paul McGann looks like, I'm getting Steve Coogan, which I don't think is far off.
I mean, we'll see what you think. I do have a list of other actors that they had compiled as potential doctors. They had secured the services of several British casting agents. And in doing so, I found this, I believe this is an article from Doctor Who magazine in like the early to mid 2000s. But here are some names on that list. starting with Rowan Atkinson,
Yes.
aka Mr. Bean, or the Curse of Fatal Death Doctor. Sean Bean, who you would know as
Bailey's alter ego.
as
Yes.
Boromir from the Lord of the Rings series. Jeremy Brett, who I don't know if you ever saw any of the '80s Sherlock Holmes
I did
stories.
not.
He was that one. Jim Broadbent,
Whoa.
who is also in the Curse of Fatal Death, but I think you know him better from Moulin Rouge.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Pierce Brosnan was on the list.
Whoa.
James Bond himself, Pierce Brosnan. Interestingly enough, Peter Capaldi on that list.
You know,
He was just destined for this role.
there's just something about Peter.
These are in alphabetical order by last name. If it were up to me, I would have saved this for last. But they also on that list had Tim Curry.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
I am the Doctor.
I mean,
We're gonna take my TARDIS into time and space.
Okay, very good. Very good. But genuinely, my God.
Especially in
this is
mid '90s, so we're talking like
mid-90s.
Muppet Treasure Island era Tim Curry.
Yes. I know I'm sad we didn't get that version. I want to go to the universe where that happened.
Timothy Dalton was also on that list, another James Bond.
Fun.
Another interesting choice. Christopher Eccleston had been on that list even back then.
Destiny.
Yeah, right? Ray Fiennes.
Oh, you mean Ralph Fiennes?
Ralph Fiennes, indeed.
Uh-huh. Also, though, what a blessed choice.
Ray Fiennes, I don't think I've ever talked about this before. So you know that they have done these like rebooted Star Trek movies where they have
Yeah.
where they have Chris Pine playing Kirk. I always thought that if they ever got to like the Next Generation and did a reboot of those, I thought Ray Fiennes should play Jean-Luc Picard. Mm-hmm. Like I still think that's fantastic casting, and I'm upset they never got to that. But anyway, that's a whole different soapbox for a whole different podcast. Next on the list is Hugh Grant, also from Curse of Fatal Death. John Hurt, the character you just met, is also the Doctor, the one who broke the promise. Eric Idle from Monty Python.
Interesting.
Derek Jacobi, who, do you remember at the end of series 3, the guy who turned out to be the Master before he was all like skinny and wacky and young?
Yeah.
That's Derek Jacobi.
Okay.
Ben Kingsley, Hugh Laurie, Ian McKellen,
Whoa.
Peter O'Toole, who is Mr. Lawrence from Lawrence in Arabia. Jonathan Pryce, who was the Master in The Curse of Fatal Death, and Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard himself. I don't know how many of these were realistic choices.
These were dream castings.
I think they literally had just compiled a list of all like the British male actors they could think of that were like in the right age range. I don't know how much. I know that they got closest with Peter O'Toole, which is interesting because that's an Academy Award-winning actor. But obviously, they ultimately ended up going with Paul McGann, who I think is a wonderful choice. He in this movie, you'll see that he brings a lot of like joy to the character that I don't think we really see in a sense that we don't even see with modern doctors. I feel like a lot of modern doctors are like play like the darker undercurrent. I feel like Paul McGann at least comes in with this like real exuberance that I think you will enjoy.
Which Doctor would you?
I would love to see
to?
Tim Curry's version of this.
Yes.
Which Doctor would I compare him most to?
Yeah. Of the classic Doctors.
Yeah.
Like, which one do you think he watched and was inspired by?
The physicality of it, probably Pertwee. Mm-hmm. The personality of it, probably Tom Baker.
Interesting.
But even obviously I'm guessing there. I would say he's probably brought his own thing to the role. He wanted it to be his own portrayal. But yeah, I think that is, if I had to guess, I would say he wanted to bring the physicality of Pertwee, because Pertwee was a very like action man kind of doctor, and McGann does a lot of running around. but he also brings a lot of joy and exuberance to it that I think Tom Baker liked to bring into the role when he could. But I don't want to belabor too much more because as much as I would love to go into more details about the story here, I think we should probably get to watching the movie. So let's get into the extra special Cassie Profassi today.
Hooray!
Today we have 2 Profassi questions written by me and 2 written by a patron of ours named Scott Sandler, who submitted 2 questions for this. I reworded one of them slightly, but I think I get the spirit of these questions.
Wow. Thank you, Scott. Yeah. Unless they're evil questions.
Unless you don't like the questions.
No, thank you, Scott.
I figure I would start with a big broad point here. Which of the Doctor's iconic nemeses is the villain of this story?
Oh, come on, man.
Well, I'll give there's really just 3 choices. There's the big trinity of villains. There's the Daleks, there's the Cybermen, and there's the Master. Which do you think is the villain of this piece? Keeping in mind it's 1996.
I know. It's 1996. We are trying to get the Doctor popular in the U.S. Mm-hmm. I think Cybermen are a little too elegant.
Okay. I mean, if you're worried about elegance, the Daleks have no concept of elegance.
I know. I'm between Dalek and Master, and
okay.
I'm just going to say Dalek because I can't.
You want to manifest the Daleks?
Ooh, please. Give them to me.
All right.
Bring me my boys.
You want to hear you also want to hear what the boys sound like in the 90s, I'm sure.
Uh-huh. I want to see how wiggly they are.
Whoa, dude. Totally tubular.
Eat my shorts.
Exterminate my shorts. All right, and the second question here. This one I thought was just kind of fun. This movie features an appearance by an actor made famous on a sketch comedy show.
Okay.
Now, it's not like a cameo, because this actually came out a year before he joined said sketch comedy show.
Man, okay.
Which sketch comedy show do you think it is? And I give you some multiple choice options here. We have the obvious choice of SNL.
Yeah.
We also have Mad TV or In Living Color.
God damn it. That's so hard.
All you gotta do is pick.
Man.
You don't gotta pick the actor. You just gotta pick.
I know, but I'm trying to think of which actor that was popular in the 90s.
I will say I don't think they were cast for popularity. I think it's a coincidence, because it's not like a big part. It's more like he's more like a recurring character. It's I don't want to call it it's more than a cameo, but less than like a title role.
I'm showing my hand a little bit. When did Ace Ventura come out?
The first Ace Ventura movie came out in 1994.
Okay. And you said that this person was made
famous on said sketch show.
Okay. But after this had come out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this was a working gig. Can I ask man or woman?
Man. I specifically said actor because it was a man.
Well, actor is a gender neutral term, dude.
No, actually, I would have said actress if it were a woman.
Yeah, gender neutral now. It's like doctor. You don't say doctoress. Ew. Okay, so what man? How famous are they now?
I wouldn't say super famous. Like you'd probably be like, oh, that guy.
If that's the case, and if that's what you're saying, Mad TV.
You're gonna say Mad TV?
I'm gonna say Mad TV.
Okay, all right, that's a fair guess. Alrighty, so those were my 2 questions. So far you have guessed that the Daleks show up, and we have a special feature from a cast member of Mad TV.
Yes.
And these 2 questions come from Scott. The actor I just mentioned is specifically watching a Universal monster movie.
Oh man!
During his shift.
Come on, dude.
During his shift in a hospital morgue. Which Universal monster movie do you think he's watching?
Okay, we were just talking about this. Fuck. Which Universal does it have anything to do with it? Which Universal monster movie?
It's doing a play on what's happening in the scene, I believe. I mean, it's just kind of a spooky thing to be watching in the background, I believe. Because he's staying up late and working in a morgue.
Because my immediate thought is Frankenwanken.
Frankenwanken? Frankenstein.
But I also know that you said that sometime in the future we'll get an episode with Mary Shelley.
That is true. Yes.
So,
But again, this is just a background bit. This isn't.
I know. So it's something to do with dead. Obviously, we're in a morgue. So the obvious choice is either Frankenstein or Dracula.
Okay.
Or Mummy. No.
All right, so you're Frankenstein or Dracula. You got a 50-50 then.
Frankenstein or
Frankenstein.
Dracula. Abby, normal. I am not angry. Gene Wilder as a doctor.
Would have been a fun choice.
I think about Gene Wilder as a doctor so much sometimes. If I can just take a little stroll down what that would look like.
That chocolate factory almost certainly is bigger on the inside.
Oh, yes. We've had this theory that Willy Wonka is a getaway Time Lord.
Yeah, Willy Wonka and Mary Poppins are the two most common other Time Lords.
She's got a bag that's bigger on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
She travels via umbrella. Okay, Frankenstein or Dracula?
What's your heart say?
Dracula. I'm going to say Dracula.
Alrighty, so Dracula it is. And then the final question, I slightly reworded this just because I felt like...
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think this is more the spirit of what he was trying to get at. This TV movie had a little bit of controversy around it because the doctor claimed that he was not in fact a pure-blooded Gallifreyan, but instead what? Is he part Dalek, part human, or a being from another universe?
A being from another universe.
Okay. All right.
Alien.
All right. So Cassie's guesses today are that the villain of this piece will be the Daleks, the iconic classic Doctor Who villain, the Daleks. We will have sort of a featured cameo from a cast member of Mad TV. There's someone in the hospital watching Dracula, and the Doctor is a being from another universe. And we will find out all of that together as we watch Doctor Who, the movie! So today's episode was supposed to be sponsored by the Amish, but they very rudely did not answer a single one of my emails. All right, back to the episode. And we are back from Doctor Who the movie. So what'd you think of your new favorite Doctor, Cassie?
Here's the thing, because we introduced very early on that this was produced by Amblin. They also produced something else this same time.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Was it giving you a similar vibe, or?
I mean... Now, for those of you who aren't
immediately triggered by that.
Not triggered. Hey, not triggered. That is one of the best pieces of cinema that exists. For those of you who have not yet been able to experience that for yourself, or who are not big dweebs for very specific niche things, that is Captain EO. That is a 17-minute long film that premiered in Disney during this time, which is one of the most expensive things that Disney has ever produced. Fun fact, Steven Spielberg and Michael Jackson went, "Oh, we got mouse money." Aesthetically and just like vibes wise, the Doctor Whovie that we just watched was giving me such strong EO energy the entire time. I know it's just because of the like time in which it was made.
Yeah. There's a
quality
quality to the camera, and there's specifically the quality of the lighting and the way things are
Quality
shot.
of the lighting, specific ways that scenes are introduced with just like transitions, I guess. Yeah, I know. I kind of loved it.
Oh, I had a strong feeling you were going to. If you told me right now that Paul McGann is your doctor, I would believe
Oh
you.
my God. I don't know if you saw me so legitimately blushing over in the corner.
I will say, on a personal note, I think Paul McGann has my favorite voice of any doctor.
Yes.
There's like a musicality to the way he talks.
It's something where I was like, I had a hard time pinpointing where his accent is from.
Uh-huh.
Which sometimes is like, oh, if he's putting on an affect, he's not being consistent. No, it's nice. It reminded me of like my own handwriting, which is a hybrid of both cursive and regular. I was like, this is just the like vocal format of that.
Uh-huh. I mean, I know that Paul McGann is...
Oh my God.
Paul McGann is Liverpudlian, so he's... but I think
I don't know what that means, Zach.
he's from Liverpool.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's doing his own accent. I don't think he's doing his own accent because I think that's...
Liverpool.
But I think he's doing his accent and trying to sound more posh.
Because here's the thing. Paul McGann reminded me of a Victorian child.
The shoes.
And they fit perfectly. I don't know if it is just the thing where he has these like, you know, the memes that are going around of like, oh, when your friend with blue eyes looks at you like, and it's just, it's just, he does have those particular blue eyes that are just, now something that did hit me a little bit was the specificity of his blue eyes and his like wild hair. I think he might be the closest we will ever get to Gene Wilder. I mean, he is the closest we'll get to Gene Wilder being the Doctor because unless they have that Futurama technology and put his head in a jar. Oh my God, he would hate that.
But yeah, it's really surprisingly well, like when I tell you there's a Doctor Who TV movie, you almost expect it to be like,
I expect it to be dumb.
yeah, you expect it to be dumb, not very well made, especially since it's like this first like joint production as a party. It's almost like, okay, this is going to be like totally different in a not good way. It's going to be trying too hard to be American. And actually, like, no, this all kind of works.
I will pause you on that statement real quick. It's trying too hard to be American. Yes and no. They do make a jab at how they appeal to American audiences very early on by having a good old fashioned shootout.
Yeah.
And then commenting on how expensive the hospital visit is about to be.
Yeah, but they don't do anything like they don't give the Doctor a gun and like have him go.
They do give him a gun and the Doctor says no. As he's rifling through the lockers to find a green velvet coat.
He briefly gets a gun and he goes, "Now please give me the vehicle or I will shoot myself."
Yeah, the Doctor gets a gun.
Yeah, but he doesn't wield it like a gun-toting badass or anything. He's still the Doctor.
He could.
Yeah. I have a soft spot for this movie for sure. I think there's a part of it's like I'm glad about the Doctor Who that we've got. But I really would have loved to see him keep doing this.
Yep.
It's he's so like natural in the role in a way that I feel like a lot of actors just aren't.
He got a movie.
Yeah.
He figured it out in a movie.
Yeah. He didn't get seasons of television. He didn't even get a second episode. He got this. And immediately you're like, oh, he's like really charming and endearing and he's got like this joy to him where he's talking about laying in the grass with his father and looking up and seeing all the colors, and it's like red and green and yellow and purple, and it's like he's so.
And my shoes fit. Thank you.
And he just starts making out with Dr. Holloway in the forest in the park.
I mean, her boyfriend just left her. She's very vulnerable, and this beautiful angel of a man is.
This beautiful angel of a man that could make her give her like a name in medical journals for years with his two hearts.
I don't blame her for a second because I too am like, nah, I get it. I would do the same.
I like a lot.
It's a rare moment for me where I'm like, I could be a feminist, but you know what? Nah. I'm practicing
Being
my
a feminist is to accept that women have flaws too.
I'm practicing my feminism by not calling it out and saying, that's creepy. No, girl, get it.
At one point, she even makes the joke that she finally finds the right guy and he's from another planet. Yeah,
She is the only woman in this entire thing, which is a little upsetting, but we'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a common thing in Doctor Who is that the woman is the companion, which is a bummer for sure.
I am really happy to see that there is a Asian person.
There's a named Asian character.
Yeah, Chang Li.
Yeah. From
very unique named Chang Li from 1999 Chinatown, San Francisco.
Which I do think there's a part where I feel like, especially in 1999 San Francisco, it would feel weird to not emphasize Chinatown in some way in San Francisco. It's such a big part of that city.
Yeah.
So I like that that's how they open. They open with Chang. I like that the way that they bring you into the story.
They don't open with that.
Well, they don't open with
shall we start from the beginning?
Yeah, let's start from the top.
Okay. Sylvester McCoy, hooray!
I really like that the opening narration is Paul McGann, but the first face you see of the Doctor is
for
Sylvester.
Like a while.
Yeah, Sylvester McCoy. There's like this nice, like if you don't know Doctor Who, there's this weird like, what is happening? Because that voice does not match this face. And like you get little implications about like I'm on my 7th life. I'm about to be on my 8th, and like I like that he shows up and he's getting his little like nice cup of tea and he's playing his music in his beautiful TARDIS set.
The yummiest TARDIS set.
Yeah, still the best TARDIS I think we've ever had.
This fact or fiction
I had
TARDIS set.
Joked that
this
looks
Jonathan Frakes ass TARDIS set.
Like that Sylvester McCoy just wanders around going, have you ever been to the Chinatown part of a big city?
I made it up.
Have you ever been to a truck stop?
Have you ever been
to... That never happened.
I made it up.
You didn't die. That never happened. We made it up. The master told you that this is his body, but it is mine. He made it up.
I am a little salty at the fact that they do have so much exposition. Just you are told a lot of like, the master died. I have his body because he asked me to take it back to Gallifrey.
I do. It's one thing I appreciate about the news.
That was a oopsie.
I respect the decision to include Sylvester McCoy because he had not been able to continue the role since. Since the show ended.
I am
but
so happy that we got to see.
But I do think that in terms of like show pacing, the way that the modern series did it, where the regeneration didn't happen until the end of that season, where the audience doesn't necessarily know that regeneration is a thing unless you're like a longtime fan. But if you're a new fan coming into Doctor Who, you don't know that regeneration is the thing for the whole season. We get introduced to the concepts of like Time Lords and time and space travel and all these things at the beginning, but they don't have to shove all of the Time Lord exposition at the beginning of the first episode.
Yeah.
You know, for better or for worse, there's a give and take to it. I like that we got to pay tribute to Sylvester McCoy in this movie, but also I do think that pacing wise, it's a lot of exposition to like drop on someone.
It's something that, you know, as a tier 1 Whovie myself. But as somebody who...
I would like the record to show that Cassie just referred to herself as a Whovian.
Shut up. No, I didn't. It was a bit. I was doing a nerd voice, Zach. I made it up.
Not a chance.
But as somebody who takes notes while we watch this show, because we do a podcast where I canonically don't enjoy the show, I wonder what it would be like having this be your introduction.
Yeah, I do. I wonder that too.
Because there is a part of you that's like, I'm disgruntled at the fact of like, I have to listen through all of this like recap. I know the method, then you know.
Yeah.
But there's also a part that's like, oh, I know this because I have done almost 100 episodes. I have seen almost 100 episodes of this show. And I say almost. I know that we also have taken little detours here and
Yeah,
there.
and also some of our episodes were two-parters, so if you include those like multi-part stories,
yeah.
yeah, you've seen over 100 episodes for sure.
Anyways, I'm grappling with that realization right now. But as somebody who has seen a lot, I feel that it is unnecessary. I like just starting at the beginning of the action, but also...
But also, if we'd started at the beginning of the action, you wouldn't got the master in handcuffs, and you hear exterminate, exterminate, exterminate.
Wait, that happened?
At the very beginning, do you remember? It's like
I didn't hear it.
yeah, you hear the little like robotic sounds of them going exterminate. Should I play it again for you?
Yes, I must have been writing something down. I completely missed that.
It's like at the very beginning.
Okay. I can understand why I did not perceive that as
Yeah, because it doesn't sound like Nicholas Briggs at all. It sounds like the Daleks are underwater.
it. So here's the thing: is I until rewatching it forgot that the Dalek planet is Skaro. I was way more distracted at his like cheeky little prison he's in, and also the Daleks in this because it's apropos for the 90s. Did you have one of those megaphone voice changers? Because
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
So, because this is the year I came to be, but my dad very early on in my childhood had come into acquisition of one of these little megaphones that he was absolutely obsessed and enamored with. And
Your dad? That doesn't sound right at all.
Right. But there was a particular voice setting on it that did sound like several aliens, and that's exactly it's just like 3 PAs standing off to the side with those just experiment. I wish I had it. I could just whip it out. And
You know, do you ever get any of those like apps that would like you would, or maybe not even an app? They had toys of it where you would say something to the toy and the toy would respond back, but your voice. That's also what it sounds like to me.
yeah.
It's like one of those like dancing cactuses.
Yeah, they had one that came out for, I think it was Dead Man's Chest for pirates, and it was a parrot.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sure there's a handful of those.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I still have it. It lives in the garage now.
It's weird in the concept of Doctor Who, like especially because if you know the Master from Doctor Who, he doesn't really have those like lizardy eyes.
No,
but I do appreciate that in the story. That's how they set up the Master. That's how you can identify him at any given beat of the story is by those like snaky reptilian eyes.
I suppose that is a very easy way if this is your introduction to it.
Yeah.
To quickly identify that this guy is evil, and we know he's evil because he has reptilian features.
Yeah, and I will say that it's not out of the realm of possibility for that to be a trait of the Master. I think I showed you a picture of him at one point. There's a Life of the Master where he spends it looking like a burnt corpse. So like it's not out of the realm of possibility to say the Master can look like a monster because he spent time looking like a burnt corpse. In between looking like Roger Delgado and Anthony Ainley.
Like a little chip.
Yeah, so it's not impossible, and really, is it that much weirder than that time he spent as a revived body that sometimes saw its laughing skull inside of him when he was John Sim?
I suppose not.
When he was an electric skeleton? So hungry. Food.
I forgot all about that.
This show is wild.
Hey, remember when I said I've watched 100 episodes of this show?
You remember like 4.
Yeah. I remember Blink, and that is it. And Daleks.
Yeah, you remember Blink, Daleks, River Song.
Oh my God, River Song.
And
oh my God, River Song with this doctor.
And from now on, you will remember him going, shoes. They fit perfectly.
Oh my God. Actually, I'll remember a whole other thing, but we'll get to that in a
and then we get
hot second.
And we get the Doctor doing this monologue about how the Master has requested that I take his remains back to Gallifrey.
Because it also, like, rewatching it really isn't that long of an exposition. I don't know why I thought it was so much longer and so much more arduous than it actually is.
Oh, say there's. I mean, it keeps
It's-
going after this as like the.
Well, yes,
yeah.
but oh my god, Sylvester in his little chair, drinking his little tea. Aww.
It's really amusing to hear you talk about this because I remember you not really having a strong opinion about Sylvester McCoy when we watched the episode.
I don't, but see, it's like
There's something about him in this moment where he looks like your grandpa.
It's something in the like he feels like that teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like that teacher that you had that didn't necessarily have a very strong relationship with you necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
You were not necessarily like that teacher's favorite student.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are out of their class and you do not have them anymore and you look back, you're like, oh, I loved them. I really liked being in their room and just like, I love the energy of that class, even though you did not have a personal relationship with them. That's how I feel about Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah, it is. It is funny that you say that because I don't know if you remember, but Ace, his companion, calls him Professor. She doesn't call him the Doctor. She calls him Professor.
Yeah.
So even she was like, yeah, so he's got a very like teachery vibe. Yeah, I get that. Especially and
He's
this image of him in the chair looks so much just like your grandfather who's ready to tell you a story.
He's the human equivalent of a third space.
I would believe that. I would believe that in real life too. He seems like he seems like a cool dude. And then we cut to the 90s, the only time we got this 90s intro sequence with its own little arrangement for the theme music. I think that
It's satisfactory. It's fine.
I think it's strangely like a perfect transition from
It's serviceable.
It's like it is weirdly like a perfect midpoint between the 7th Doctor's intro and the 2005 intro, because this also has the like whooshing through the cylindrical tunnel with the names flying towards us.
Yeah, the visuals were not.
Yeah, the visuals are very like reminiscent of what we see.
Again, the whole intro is just serviceable.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's a fun arrangement to listen to because there's not another one like it because there was no other one that came out in the 90s.
If it was a food, it would be like a Red Robin.
Yeah.
You know,
or even like a
not the restaurant chain, like an actual bird.
like a Garfield's, a restaurant that you haven't been to in like 20 years.
What is a Garfield's?
Maybe that was just a Southern thing.
What is?
So Garfield's was just like a sit down restaurant akin to like I guess like an Applebee's or something, but it was for me it was in my local mall and we would go there after church a lot on.
Yeah, that sounds like a regional thing.
That might be a regional thing. I just assume, and that would also explain why they disappeared because I was under the impression they just closed. Anyway, but yeah, it's just like a niche place that you haven't been to in 20 years.
Did you have Cabarrus?
I believe we had them. I don't think we ever went to one.
Okay.
It sounds familiar at least. Yeah, it's a nice, like, serviceable little intro. And then the Doctor is, like, sitting down with his little cup of tea, listening to his music.
Listening to his records.
He locks up the master in a little box with a sonic screwdriver.
My favorite thing is knowing that at this point, this is a collection of stuff. He has been the Doctor for long enough that he has amassed a like maximalist collection of things, and also the number of times that they have brought into play jelly babies, which I forgot to make the post. Zach and I went to a candy store in the mall. It's called Ollie and Pops, Lolly and Pops. It's one of those. Their colors are very Tiffany blue, and it has a lot of like international candies. They have jelly babies, y'all.
Yeah, so
we were able to get some in a little mixed bag, and we only got one of each color because we were scared. But we can both confirm the yellow is the best one.
Yeah, they're very good too. They're like I enjoyed all of them to one extent or another, but yes, the yellow is the best.
Yellow was arguably the best, and I'm just really tickled at the fact that when you said that that 8 was very akin to 4, I did not realize how many times they would reference 4.
I mean, 4 is, I think, the most iconic Doctor, irrespective of your opinion of who is which Doctor is your favorite, which is your best. You just don't get more like there's a few pieces of iconography of the Doctor more iconic than that big scarf and the phrase, "Would you like a jelly baby?"
4 came out in the 70s.
Yes.
Okay, so that's also, I feel like things that came out in the 70s were like the most iconic. But think about like we saw the first Star Wars movie. There were other things that happened in the 70s.
Well, this is all, it
Well,
was
like, that's
right. It was
also when
right
a lot
after
of,
we
like-
landed on the moon. We landed on the moon in 1969. So there's like the sort of a space time.
Space time. We had a lot of like glam rock. Just a lot of like very generation defining.
Yeah, and Tom
Things.
Baker is such a unique performer with his like really big Cheshire cat grin, his like deep voice, and his super like he's very tall. There's not a lot of performers like him.
No.
And I think because of that, the Doctor is often personified by actors that are really unique to look at.
Yes.
That's why I think Sylvester McCoy certainly fits that mold. He's got a very like you would mention him having a very like professorial kind of look, but he's also got like this big wild hair, but he's also kind of short and stout. So there's not a lot of actors that look like him. I think Matt Smith is also very much like that. He's got a very like long face with a big chin. They keep remarking on his big chin, and then they advance that a lot by putting a fez on him, so his head looks even longer sometimes. And he gets a bow tie, and he dresses in, like his tweed outfits and his beautiful purple suit.
Like something that, even as you're reading the list of other potential doctors, the people that I was the most excited to hear are the people that are not conventionally like.
Yeah, not conventionally attractive, but they're interesting. They're interesting performers.
Well, because like Jim Broadbent,
yeah,
I would have loved to see. Tim Curry.
If I was going to guess what Jim Broadbent's Doctor would be like, it would basically be Slughorn when he plays him in Harry Potter.
Ooh.
Yeah, just a very like his eyes are always like a, "Don't ask me any secrets right now, please."
Welcome aboard.
I do like that they find ways to reference the Fourth Doctor, like he finds the scarf in the hospital.
And it's not the scarf, but it is one.
It's a big scarf.
It's a big stripy multicolored scarf.
Yeah. It's
if you know,
evocative
you know. If you don't, it's just a silly looking scarf.
Uh-huh.
I forgot that he literally has the Doctor or the Master's urn, in its own little like.
Yeah, he's got the
sanctuary.
The Master's remains are in like a vase or in like an urn, and then that urn is inside of a chest, and that chest has been locked by the sonic screwdriver.
And then he mailed that box to himself.
And when it arrives, it's open.
Yeah, I'd like to make another comment. What is with the 90s and goo? So much goo.
Yeah, because the Master is very specifically
Goo.
through the first third of the movie.
He's slime. He's a little slimy ball.
Slimy goo, and also like the color of semen.
Yep. Like very cummy. We also saw it during like that's the first slime craze. You saw it on Nickelodeon with the goo. What is with goo in the 1990s?
I don't know, man. Even kids now, there's like the whole slime craze of like making slime at home with.
That's different. There's now variations of slime. You have your fluffy slime. You got your fluffy slime. You got your metallic slime.
Welcome to our new podcast, Who is My Slime?
Zach. Zach. Spoiler alert, they're all just metallic blue slimes. It was TARDIS slime all along. You do, though, remind me, we haven't played a particular game in a minute.
We are a little behind on our games, Cassie. We'll have to touch up on those in our run-up here, but I do feel like you've probably got a strong idea from your face you're giving me right now. What's the game you want to play, Cassie?
Oh, I'm just thinking about like slime and drool, and drool reminds me of dogs. Hey, Zach, we haven't played. Who is my doctor? Woof woof.
Ooh.
Ow.
Ow.
So where did we leave off?
Well, I think we missed doing the fifth Doctor last time, but we're going to come up with an episode with him soon, so we could do it then.
We'll skip him for now.
So we've seen the second Doctor, we have seen the sixth Doctor, we have seen.
Will we see them again?
You'll see. So you won't see the seventh one again during this run up. You will see.
I thought we figured out though what 7 was.
We did figure out 7.
Yeah.
You will see. In our like run up to the 50th, you will see every Doctor except the 7th at some point.
We will revisit them.
Yeah.
We'll revisit them because this is the only time we'll see 8. Well, let's figure out. Let's figure out what is 8.
I mean, he's got to be a dog that does little tippy taps.
You know, I was thinking some kind of like Afghan hound, just because Afghan hounds are very long and slender, but they have these like they have this beautiful like supermodel hair. Like they are so so I used to have a game when I was a small child. Also for those of you just listening to this, we have the movie playing again but with no sound. So if I interrupt myself, it's because I'm looking at the screen.
Yeah, we had started playing the intro.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry, everybody, for how ADHD riddled this episode is. I forgot that they just jammed goo out of the keyhole like some kind of toothpaste. Anyways, I used to have a game when I was a little girl.
When I was a little girl.
A
I
man
had
in a blue box.
I had an imaginary friend.
I had a game that was effectively like dog salon. So you could give them a bath, you could trim their hair, like, and they had a couple different dogs that you could like select to clean. It was like a pet store game. I'll have to find it just because now my nostalgia is yelling at me. But the Afghan hound in that was this cunty little, like, she was so skinny. She had this like beautiful beige hair. You could put so many bows and like sparkles and flowers in it. Oh my goodness. So I'm tempted to say that 8 might also be an Afghan hound, but also we did see him with those little tippy tappies. We did see little tippy tappies.
He does get excited and go, these shoes, and as he's doing a little tippy tap dance. Are you interested in hearing? We've referenced T. Kyron, an artist that has drawn all the Doctors as dogs.
Yeah.
Are you interested at all in hearing their pitch for the 8th Doctor?
Because I think I am stuck on Afghan hound. Because I would say Borzoi, but like no.
No, I don't think it's a Borzoi.
No, Borzois are too like broad snooted.
Yeah. Their pitch for the 8th Doctor is an Irish setter.
Okay.
Yeah,
similar in energy as an Afghan hound.
Yeah, and the specific way they have drawn them is so that the floppy ears of the Irish setter have like really curly hair,
Aww.
like McGann's hair. It's a very fun drawing. Yeah, I am a big.
Would you agree? Do you have any?
I feel like there are so many dogs I can see with doing that little dance.
Like, I could also even, like, boil it down and make it really simple and say golden retriever.
Yeah.
A la Nala Stomps.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like it's a dog that is, like, excited to go on a walk.
He might be the most golden retriever. Or, like, a border collie.
Yeah.
Nah, he might be... He might be a mutt. He might be a golden retriever. Afghan hound. Anyways. And that was Who is My Doctor? Woof, woof. We'll revisit the others when we're going through our during our greatest hits tour leading up to the 50th. But
yeah, so the Doctor, after having been shot for reasons that feel silly, he gets wheeled in for surgery into a hospital that where Eric Roberts is weirdly the ambulance like paramedic, and he's saying, "Oh, we're going to a really expensive hospital. How expensive? They have a cardiologist that's going to the opera. That's how you know it's fancy."
Yeah, a cardiologist on call who has tickets to the opera, who lives in this beautiful metropolitan home.
Yeah, it's very very interesting. And then they over and over again say that the doctor can't have two hearts. It must be a double exposure on the X-ray. And I appreciate that they go to great lengths to at least justify, like, the guy's been shot. We have to get to work. His heart rate's at 300, as they say. So they're like, we have to work fast. We don't have time to, like, get another X-ray machine. The problem comes when they're, like, about to get into surgery and he's not under at all. Like, he just starts, like...
Did you know that happened to me once?
I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it's also, like, the way he keeps, like, violently jerking up. It's not just that he's not under. It's that he's so not under that he's clearly, like, referencing, like, Puccini, Madame Butterfly. And he's, like, grabbing her wrist and then he, like, sits all the way up. And it's just like, I don't know that they would do surgery in these circumstances.
Did I ever tell you the story about the kind of evil but really funny thing my mom did?
What's that?
So, for those of you who do not know, when I was very young, had surgery, an uncomfortable amount for a child. Nothing serious, and we don't need to go into that. But one of the last times I had gotten surgery was I was significantly older. This was college for me. So we'll say it was about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I'm an older person. As I am, like, getting wheeled off, this is just another run-of-the-mill thing. You know, just come on, we just got to do it and get it over with. Let me go so I can see y'all on the other side. My mom, as they're wheeling me in, goes, "Remember, Cassie, it's February 28th, 2018. And they wheel me in. They do the whole thing, you know, count backwards from 100. I pass out at like 45. Which was an uncomfortably long time for me to be awake. I'd never gotten past 50 before. So when they bring me back out after the surgery, I'm coming to, I'm waking up. And I remember very vividly going, February 28th, 2018, February 28th, 2018. And I look at my mom and go, it's February 28th, 2018. And she goes, oh no, they didn't tell you. I went, tell me what? She's like, it's been 4 days. I went, what? No. She goes, nah, you're so right. It is. Got you there for a little bit. And then I looked up at the clock on the wall and it was melting. And then there was an old Chinese woman in the bed next to me. And
there was a baby with a very old face in the corner whispering your secrets at you.
Mama. Yeah. But
you can't see blue right.
I specifically will never forget the, oh no.
It's such a mean thing for your mother to do.
It's really funny though.
It does.
It's only funny because it was not the first surgery ever.
Yeah.
It was, I think at that point, that would have been like 10, 11.
Oh, did you get a free sandwich?
See, when I was younger, every time I would go in to surgery and then come back out, my mom would get me a stuffed animal. So I got lots of Beanie Babies from that. The older I got, the more demanding I got. So it'd be like, oh, I would like this game for my Nintendo. I would like this thing. So by the time that I am fully an adult, I go, hey, Mom, I would like my treat. And she goes, you have a job. I went, okay, can you get me ice cream then? She goes, I'll get us ice cream, sure.
It's so mean.
Yeah. I love her.
So they have the doctor go through surgery, but because they are not prepared to handle the fact that he has two hearts, they start going down the wrong hallways in his body. He has a seizure and dies.
She gets the poor Dr. Grace, who has fled here, presumably running through the San Francisco streets with nothing but her ball gown. She took her shoes off, which I'm really glad they showed her.
Took her shoes off.
Running through the ER with her shoes in hand.
But they definitely put her, like, surgical wear just over her dress. So she's wearing a corset in surgery.
She's wearing a corset and like 4 petticoats. I love
Still
this
with that
woman.
one single tear she was crying at the opera.
Yeah,
on
her
cheek.
gel tear. I love her. She's so hot too.
She's very pretty. She's a very pretty woman. And I do like that they, the doctor's companion for this story is an actual doctor. We don't feel like we get that very much.
We don't get no tea, no shade. No tea, no shade. We don't get like really super duper smart companions often.
And there's a slight reason for that. They had the third doctor's first companion is a woman named Liz Shaw. And basically she was supposed to be like a lead scientist at UNIT. And the doctor comes in and he's the science advisor. And the problem with that is they found out that as that one season went on, both of those characters sort of filled the same story need. They were both like you had 2 characters that were the smart one. And so it's an unfortunate byproduct of like, for efficient storytelling, we need 2 characters that fit different roles. And unfortunately the one is like the doctor is often the smart one. And so but you also don't want to have a guy with another guy be the only 2 characters, so it often ends up being the smart guy and the kind of dumb woman. They have found other ways to go around that. I like Martha in particular had a very like different, like she was a very intelligent woman.
What most companions lack in like educational, like book smarts, they make up for in being extraordinarily clever.
Yeah.
Extraordinarily
or very like emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
I think Donna was a very like emotionally intelligent person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
she did a lot of like her actions were led by her heart.
Yeah, and so I think that's usually where they strike a good balance. But I do like that they bring in a character that is not just intelligent, but like scientifically minded. Like she wants to like look at the doctor's blood and takes the doctor's pulse and things like it's a very like methodical approach that she takes to him.
She's scientific.
Yeah, I really appreciate that take.
Cyan, because she was wearing a blue dress.
It is funny to think that if
that was a good joke, Cassie. A+, way to go. Woo!
Well, I think it would have been kind of funny is that the third doctor has a very similar situation where he spends the first chunk of his first story in the hospital because his introduction is literally we don't see that regeneration. All we see is the TARDIS doors opening and John Pertwee falling out into the grass.
Amazing.
And so he spends the first chunk of his story in the hospital recovering. Do you want to know what his first line is, Cassie? Because it's related to this story in a way. The third doctor's first word on camera, I believe, is shoes. The doctor has an obsession with shoes.
And
oh my God, shoes.
And for stealing people's clothes from hospitals.
Yeah, this is at least the third doctor we've seen that has stolen their clothes from the hospital. There's 3, 11, and now 8 have all taken their clothes from the hospital. But yeah, so the surgery goes poorly. The doctor dies, and they wheel him down into
the
morgue, where we see Will Sasso of Mad TV. The point you got for this episode.
It's fitting that the only point I got was a Mad TV question.
Yeah, which is it's so weird like seeing him because he's a little younger than he was when he was on Mad TV, so he doesn't quite look like the himself we know, especially if you mostly know him now, where he's 20 years older, and he's got like this almost frat boy, like the guy that works in the morgue and has like deals with death by laughing at it. Mm-hmm. Kind of personality. I think that's a really fun angle to take with him, especially when they cast Will Sasso in that role. I know he wasn't like a name at this point, but they found a good actor to do that.
At this point in time, he would have been pursuing comedy.
Yeah. So very much. So he's like hey guess what? It's December 31st. Party on! As he's like yelling at the corpse. We cut away from that for a little bit and we see the master slithering around the ambulance driver's clothes. Bruce, and the master weirdly takes the form of a snake for no reason. He's like you
if we're going based off of we've already established he has the reptilian eyes,
yeah,
and he's made out of
goo.
I was gonna say splooge, but okay. he's made out of stuff.
Yeah.
presumably, if you were made out of a liquid, slithering would be your best mode, your most convenient means for transportation. Therefore, a snake is the best form for you.
Yeah, and you had joked. There's a moment later on in the episode where the master has changed into some like Gallifreyan robes. And he's like, I always dress for the occasion. And you had joked that the master is very queer.
Yeah.
I do feel like if you're slithering around as like a pile of goo, you're like, I'm gonna be a snake. Just no one's gonna see me, but it just makes me feel a little extra.
I'm a snake. I'm a slither little snake. Yeah, he saw that video and was like, oh.
I have an idea.
Time Lord, he saw it in advance.
I have an idea.
Yeah. I want to try something out. Hello, Father.
And he shoves himself down the throat of Eric Roberts.
Hot.
Which is mostly funny because the woman, presumably his girlfriend or wife, is sleeping next to him, was like just so mad that he's snoring, and then the snake jumps down his throat so he can't snore anymore. Can't snore if your throat's closed. Can't snore if your throat's full of snake.
Also, she's having a hard time sleeping. It is literally daytime in their bedroom. There is so much light.
I think it's supposed to be like
It's the
moonlight, but it's also like
no. I mean, yes, but
I think it is meant
could
to.
you imagine if they did an authentic shot where it's just blackout curtains, you can't see anything, you just hear it.
You just see the master's eyes, like that's little snake eyes, like slithering through the dark.
Like he's a fox in the woods at night.
Like he's a cartoon character who's angry someone shut off the lights. And so he shoves himself into the throat of Eric Roberts, and then the woman's like, finally some sleep. Meanwhile, the doctor is in that morgue going through the most painful regeneration I think they have ever put to film.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and
because he is like legally dead.
Yeah.
And also we don't know how Time Lords work when they've had so much anesthesia.
Yeah, he even says the anesthesia almost killed the regeneration process is something that he said. And they just have Sylvester McCoy making like big expressive faces. Like
he's grimacing. He's actively just
and they're doing like a nice like a lightly computer affected like transition.
They're doing
between
the like pinch and pull effects, which are a little silly, but yeah, it's the 90s.
And it works. And it works also for the scene because Will Sasso was watching Frankenstein in the other room.
Which I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of upset about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And so he's watching Frankenstein, and there is this like mad sciencey kind of quality to it when you're hearing like the thunderclaps from Frankenstein and watching the doctor like shapeshift.
How does the doctor get electrocuted in the morgue? Because there are times where you can see his full skeleton, and there are I believe, lightning strikes.
So here's the thing: up until the 9th, going into the 10th Doctor, there was no real like set way the Doctor regenerated.
So he's generating his own energy?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's a little more... I think it feels more obvious when you watch more of the classic regenerations because some of them are... Each one's different. Like, no two are really exactly the same. And so with that in mind, I think that's what they were going for, is like the regeneration energy coming off are these like crackles of electricity and the like painful shape-shifting.
Well, it also does make sense, and you can justify it as he literally received so much defibrillator. Yes.
Defibrillation.
Thank you. He received so much of that. And because he is half human on his mother's side, there is a non-zero chance that his body just held on to that energy. And then during this regeneration, used that energy. Look at me making things make sense.
I was going to get to that. Like, I'll get to the half human thing when it comes up in the story.
Yeah.
But that was a real controversial thing for Doctor Who fans, for sure. Will Sasso like stands up and like goes to see what's going on in the morgue because he's hearing like the clattering, and then like the morgue door is being bashed on like so much that it's denting, and Will Sasso's like, oh no, oh god, and it has the same energy of like, oh god, they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god! Which is nothing against Will Sasso. It's just hard to act against a literal wall.
Well, especially since his thing is like, whatever the other technician's name is. He's like, Bert, is that you?
Yeah. He thinks he's being messed with, and then Paul McGann stumbles out dressed in just like a white sheet.
He comes out like Jesus on the third day.
Like white Jesus with long hair.
Like the correct Jesus, Zach.
Like American Jesus, yes.
Yes, like Catholic Jesus.
And then meanwhile the master is like commandeering Eric Roberts' body, and he's like shivering and shaking and pulsing and starting to like foam at the mouth. I think they were trying to go for rabies, but because
no, that's goo.
Yeah.
That is goo that is pouring out of his mouth, either like a very hungry hippo, or like he's just gotten, he does not swallow.
So he's having this, like the master is like commandeering this body. At the same time, Paul McGann's doctor is like wandering through what appears to be a completely wrecked wing of the hospital.
Oh my God.
There's like a pipe that's burst in it.
It's wet. There are broken mirrors.
Yeah, there's shattered glass.
You can see the lightning outside.
Broken tables. He starts like seeing his face and all these new things. He's like, who am I? Who am I? And then he falls to his knees. Who am I was like, yes, who am you?
Beautiful. Good job. Also, can I just say, I love how much of this man's chest we get to see.
Yeah, he's got his like open robes, like he's singing the song from Jesus Christ Superstar.
I wrote down Jesus Christ Super Who.
Jesus Christ Hooperstar.
Zach.
Who am I?
That's the best joke.
And then it's the only place where I'm like, and commercial break.
Yeah, for real.
Because where it cuts back to doesn't really make a lot of sense to where it just was.
No, I was thinking to myself that the thing that this TV movie is missing is a healthy dose every so often of adverts for Fedco.
McDonald's Happy Meal.
Yeah, McDonald's Happy Meal, Fedco, Circuit City, Radio Shack, Toys R Us. What else was alive in the 90s?
Kid Cuisine.
Kid Cuisine, thank you.
Yeah, and then the doctor starts like going through the lockers at the hospital. And we see
after the commercial break.
After the commercial break, yeah.
After he's calmed down a little bit.
He sees the big scarf. He sees other like New Year's Eve, because there's canonically like a New Year's Eve party happening that night where everyone's gonna dress in costume, and one guy's dressing up in some like Western outfit. I don't know what Western character dresses like Paul McGann's doctor. But you could see that he like pulls out a bandolier and throws it aside. There's like a big hat that he ignores, but he takes he certainly seems to like the coat and the vest, which must have been rented from a really nice costume shop. If this is a if this is a New Year's Eve party costume and nothing else, because there's nice embroidery on the inside. It's just such a beautiful. It's a beautiful coat. I think this might be my second favorite look behind Matt Smith's purple outfit.
I'm biased because they've put him in one of my favorite materials on Earth. Green velvet.
All right, bisexual.
Hey.
And then meanwhile, the next morning, the woman that was like sleeping next to Eric Roberts wakes up and she's like, oh, you didn't snore? You got a sense of humor this morning? Why don't you come back to bed, honey? And he's like, my name is not Honey. You should call me Master. And she's like into it. I'm a little surprised they don't do that more often. They don't do like a sexy bit with his name being the Master. But also, like, I don't know where other joke you would tell than this one. It's like something like, kind of into that.
Yeah, unless they did do a more modern setting where they, where the Master wakes up next to, like, an extraordinarily gay.
If the Master walks into like a BDSM.
Yeah, wakes up in an orgy. Is just super kinky, so everybody around him is also like extraordinarily kinky. So then the master is confused, but everybody is into it.
Back at the hospital, Grace is really upset that no one told her that he has two hearts. They all just sort of assumed it was a double exposure, and Grace immediately pegs that he just has two hearts. It's not a double exposure because the hearts are facing different directions. Any of those doctors should have known that's not a double exposure because the hearts are going in different directions. Even I, a layman who works in a pharmacy, could tell you that.
Yeah. Even I, a kid who grew up in a hospital, could tell you that.
And so the hospital basically is trying to like cover up
because
what happened, because they're like, yeah, you made a big mistake.
It was specifically because they had like investors or like chairman, board of trustees people like looking in the like operation room as if it is the 1700s and this is a body that's recently been dug up.
Yeah, and so obviously
surgical theater. There we go.
Yeah, and so they're having this issue with like the investors and all that, and so
our best doctor.
Yeah, and so she has this issue, and they're like, well, the body is gone, and there's no evidence anymore of them having two hearts, so it sounds like your mistake never happened. We can just cover this whole thing up. And she's like, I want to look at him. He has two hearts. What can we learn from him? And the head of the hospital is just like, no, we're good. She's like, I quit. And so after she quits, she wanders her way into the elevator while Paul McGann, now fully dressed in his fancy outfit, but no shoes, still the John Doe tag on his toe. Which I know you had said it. That would have been the first thing that comes off.
Yep.
Just like something rattling around, slapping me in the foot everywhere I go. He put pants on and left the thing on his toe.
Further proof, this doctor not autistic. For me, socks first thing to come off. I am
before shoes even. You take the socks off.
Yeah.
And so the doctor like recognizes Grace as being the doctor that operated on him, so he's like, she might know who I am, and so he follows her into the elevator and stands like 3 inches from her face.
No concept of personal space.
There's no concept of personal space. Follows her all the way out to her car.
Which by that point, pepper spray is out.
Yeah,
for me at least.
Although if it was Paul McGann.
Yeah, you're right.
And she's got her hands full. Her hands are full of the stuff that she took out of her office. So
you're right.
So she can't do a pepper spray. Then she gets it, but she's like, just leave me alone. And the doctor like doesn't really disappear, but he sort of like fades away for a second. She gets in her car, that he's in the back seat of her car in true 90s comedy fashion. Oh, I'm already in here. And so he pulls the camera out of his veins, and she's like, what the fuck?
I mean, at that point, then you kind of have to believe what he's saying because something truly remarkable has happened.
And then he goes, drive! And so she just books it. She's like, all right, this is what we're doing now. We're playing the feud. And then she takes him home to find that all of her furniture is missing because her boyfriend is mad that she left him at the opera last night.
You know, because she's
an on-call cardiologist. If she doesn't go into work, people's hearts stop working. Brian.
What a douchebag.
It is funny to know that because Brian's actor doesn't have any lines, he's not credited in it, so nobody has any idea who that actor is. I feel bad because like the actor is certainly not Brian. Whoever he is, I'm sure he's a fine person, but it's really funny that he's just like he's not credited. Even the Doctor Who wiki has not attributed that role to any actor because they don't know who he is.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. And so they do some tests and they find out that he does in fact have two hearts. Meanwhile, Chang Lee has taken the Doctor's things and he goes to look at the TARDIS. He goes inside to find that Eric Roberts' master is already in there.
Which also, I feel like the TARDIS should know better.
Right? Wow. There's a whole thing in it where it's like...
Particularly because they keep referring to the TARDIS as like, oh, she likes you.
Oh, yeah, the TARDIS likes you. Like, He had to get a key to get in. How did you get in here? You didn't turn into goo again.
The secret key is.
But the secret key is still where it was.
He put it back.
Why would he do that? He's the master. He would have opened it and then swallowed it.
He turned back into goo and went through the keyhole. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't explain how he got in there at all. But he's just going up to Lee and just like, oh, you could help me. You are my number one guy. And he starts showing him. He starts telling him all these lies about how the doctor is stolen his body. He's the real guy that should have all those lives. The doctor has committed such heinous war crimes like Genghis Khan. He was Genghis Khan. Which I will say, I feel like that the implication there is that the master was Genghis Khan. He just pulled that out as I'm going to attribute some shit that I did to him.
I mean, to that avail, it's not lying.
And it wouldn't be the first time that they've described the doctor as a random historical figure. I don't know if you remember, but they referred to Matt Smith. It said that the doctor, River had said at one point that the doctor was Merlin.
Yes.
And so the master leads him into this leads Lee into this cloister room, the basically the battery of the TARDIS, where he opens this Eye of Harmony.
Which, can I just say, this set was giving such strong 90s immersive entertainment energy, specifically the one that I'm referring to, and I don't know that you would have any memory of this. I only found out about it recently because I watched a video essay on it. Caesar's Palace Magical Empire.
I've never heard that before.
It was this whole thing that they had at Caesar's Palace where you paid $70 for a dinner experience where they had magicians and fire eaters and performers, but it was supposedly, quote, hundreds of miles underneath the Earth's crust.
Mm-hmm.
It was not. It was in Caesar's Palace.
Mm-hmm.
The specificity of the way that everything is decorated does give me very strong immersive experience energy, which also, is saying something that if you're trying to get something off the ground, framing it as a place that you want to go to, not a bad idea.
I will say, I forgot to mention this. I do think it's funny that because he's got these reptilian eyes that show off that he is the master instead of Bruce. To hide them, they've got these aviators on him, so it looks like that to try and disguise his identity, the master has dressed himself up like Joe Biden. Meanwhile, but then he's taking him into the Eye of Harmony, and for some reason, human eyes open the Eye of Harmony. That's weird and kind of dumb. But
I have
whatever.
A whole host of issues with the Eye of Harmony.
Yeah, but whatever. It opens it up, and then the master gets to see Sylvester McCoy's doctor and then Paul McGann's doctor. I heard you be very upset that they did not.
I want more. Show me all of them.
I feel like we're spoiled by the modern series, always showing all the faces every time.
I love that.
Yeah, it gives the show weight.
It gives it depth.
Yeah,
it shows me that things have been going on for a while.
Yeah.
I know that I just like the reminder every so often.
They don't do that here. They just show you 7 and 8, and then the master's like, that is the layout of a human eye. The doctor is half human. Later on, the doctor says, I'm half human on my mother's side. Obviously, they didn't keep that bit of lore from this TV movie.
What the fuck was that?
So, the fan-accepted justification for that is that when a Time Lord regenerates, they can look however they want, and so as such, they can take on the traits of other species when they regenerate. So the accepted theory is that the I'm half human on my mother's side was genuinely just a joke, and the doctor is half human, mean that in this incarnation, the doctor has taken on human traits.
Is it the same sort of thing that they do in Resident Alien, where because, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched that, great show, the longer that Harry Vanderspiegel, the alien, is a human, he adopts more human traits?
I have no idea.
Is it that sort of logic that we're supposed to accept, that the longer that the doctor is
I honestly
human,
think
because
they were,
we haven't seen any other Doctor take any other Time Lord rather take any form other than humanoid.
yeah, I don't know that they had like a real plan with it. If I had to guess, they were probably trying to ape Star Trek a little bit, because Spock is half human, he's half Vulcan, half human.
Thank you.
There's a part of me that's like, maybe they're going for that. Maybe they were trying to make the character a little more relatable by making him half human, so that he's not totally alien to us like everyone else is. Maybe they had storylines in mind, like where they would like deal with how did a human and a Gallifreyan mate and make the Doctor.
Or maybe it was just a joke and we're reading too much into the bit.
Like that, yeah, like
Because they're at least
the accepted fan theory is that the Doctor had taken on human traits in his 8th incarnation, and then he happened to make a joke. It's mainly just the hand wave the Doctor Who fans make,
So-
that they don't have to think about that anymore.
so canonically speaking, this Doctor is the most human. Yeah.
A little bit,
So
yeah.
he has like a 6-inch dick. Average human. Five, but he
I
knows how to work
can't imagine
it.
Paul McGann is
Eight?
not. I feel like he's packing heat. I mean, it's Paul McGann, man. The man had amnesia and still had Riz out the wazoo.
My God, I'm just remembering all the times that just the wind is blowing and it's. That's dressing for the female gaze.
I need to skip ahead a little bit because we are taking quite a while with this episode.
Well,
right now.
we're picking it apart. You are meandering through.
Yeah, I do enjoy the moment where the Doctor and Grace are walking through the park, and he suddenly remembers that he's from Gallifrey. He's like, "It's a warm Gallifreyan night. Gallifrey! That must be where I'm from. Where is that?" And Grace is like, "I don't know. Never heard of it before." It just, I don't know why it reminded me so much of that moment in the Book of Mormon, where he's like, "Uganda, cool. Where is that?"
I will say something that I do appreciate about this.
Mm-hmm.
I like that MK Ultra is part of the plot.
MK Ultra?
Well,
Do you mean Y2K?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just the theory of like, oh, the new millennium, baby, like everything's gonna change, the world's gonna end, and in this case, it's like, oh no, because the eye has been opened, it is.
The world is genuinely going to end.
It is genuinely actually going to end.
It's not the Y2K, it's the I2K.
Whoa.
And so the Doctor remembers who he is and starts telling Grace, and Grace freaks out, so she abandons him and runs back home. And the Doctor's like, we have to go close the Eye of Harmony. The world is going to end. And she's like, I'm calling psychiatric because you need to go there, obviously. And so the Doctor's response is just like, okay, well, I'm going to walk through glass now to prove I'm right.
And then she proceeds to ask for 2 beds in psychiatric, which also, I love the fact that she just fully calls the hospital. That is such a I work here thing to do.
Yeah, and so they call an ambulance, and obviously the Master shows up because I guess that makes sense. I mean, he is an ambulance driver. It's just a little convenient for the story, but yeah, who cares? And then there's a chase scene where the Doctor steals a police motorcycle, and they're in an ambulance. I really enjoy the moment where he's like, why are we still sitting here in traffic? And he's like, well, the road's closed. And the Master's like, this is an ambulance. We don't have to follow the traffic rules. We could drive on the sidewalk. And so they make their way to this big event where they're revealing a big atomic clock that will be the new most accurate clock ever. That happens to be made with beryllium that the Doctor needs for plot reasons.
Something that I do like, and I'm skipping ahead a little bit just so that way we can fucking go.
It's going to take a while to edit.
Something that I appreciate. Doctor's raw dogging it. You don't have his
have a sonic screwdriver.
No. His magic crystal stick. This Sonic looks the most like a magic wand.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think the most magic wand one is still Matt Smith's. If only because that one you point outward, and this is still like
operationally, yes, but this one aesthetically, because it's just a little red crystal suspended in some kind of apparatus.
through shenanigans. They eventually make their way into the TARDIS, where the Doctor is trying to fix things, and for some reason, closing the Eye of Harmony doesn't work. Eventually, the Master reveals that earlier in the story, he had gotten a little bit of goo on her wrist.
When they were in the ambulance, yes.
Yeah, so it got a little bit of goo on her.
Which also, if you blink and you miss it.
Yeah. Well, they also did say it later when there's that moment when all the like guards are covered in it and they're like frozen in place. And so he's like, be lucky you only got some on your wrist. So they do remind you what happened.
Oh, okay. I was distracted by how cummy everything looked.
But yes, Grace gets mind controlled and bashes the Doctor in the head, and then they strap him to a gurney. And then for some reason they have the like keep your eyes open head mount from A Clockwork Orange.
Yep.
It's like, where the I don't think that's in an ambulance, Doctor. You just have that?
He's an avid collector of movie paraphernalia.
And so they are doing this whole thing where the Master is like set up the Doctor. Like, first of all, the Master kills Chang because Chang realizes that the Master is lying, and then the Master is like wheeled up, as like mounted the Doctor up onto this like little chain thing, like all strapped up in handcuffs and stuff.
Oh no.
His eyes forced open.
Yeah, I didn't like that part. Everything else though was
And then
pretty good choice.
They get the Eye of Harmony open again, and the Master is starting to steal the lives. And I do enjoy the camp of the Master being like, yes, I am alive. I can feel your memories, Doctor. They are mine.
I do like the justification for the TARDIS not being able to operate is because the eye has been open.
Uh-huh.
Very much like if you leave your lights on in a parked car. It's like, this is being explained to me in ways that I understand. Mm-hmm. And now everything that's happening is bad because the Master is wearing red now.
Yeah, he comes out in his big Gallifreyan robes.
He's bad.
Ready to do his fancy things.
I do like that they also dropped the octave of his voice down too.
They like pitch shifted him down. Like I think he's still speaking normally, but they do also have him sometimes do things like this, where he's talking in a very like almost reptilian way. And I like that apparently the whole solution to this was just to take the Master and throw him in the Eye of Harmony. Just throw him right in the hole.
Why don't we take the Master and put him over here? Now I do have beef with the eye.
Uh-huh.
Where the fuck did it come from? How does it have that much power? What is it doing in the TARDIS? Is it still there in the TARDIS?
I mean, it would have to be.
It is such a convenient plot device to just exist in this like timeless space.
And so they get the TARDIS working again, and the TARDIS goes into temporal orbit, and that somehow revives Chang and Grace.
But the Master is still dead.
But yeah, the Master's been swallowed and giving the TARDIS indigestion. I do like just that there's a little moment that they have where the Doctor is just like flipping his little switches and like just getting everything going. And there's a very like, he is the Doctor now kind of moment. And the way it's like, the way they put a pin on it is the TARDIS doesn't work right away. And so it does a slow zoom in and he just gives it a little kick, a little punch on the console, and it's working up again. And that's a real like, this is the Doctor now kind of moment.
Yes.
It felt the same as like when Matt Smith stepped through all those faces of the previous Doctors and he goes, hello, I'm the Doctor.
Yeah.
That felt like a very similar moment where he's just like, I know the TARDIS well enough that I know right where to like smack it like a vending machine to get what I want.
This is my element. I am exactly where I need to be.
Yeah. He drops them off roughly midnight on January 1st, 2000. All the fireworks are going off.
Chang runs off with 2 bags full of gold.
Not even like gold coins, it's gold dust. Like, where are you going to sell that?
Jeweler. Melt it down.
Fair enough. And then the Doctor and Grace have like a nice kiss goodbye. They both refer to each other as Doctor, and the Doctor hops in his TARDIS and flies off into adventures we don't see. And presumably into the Time War.
Oh yeah, that would be happening next, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Over the next however many years of his life. But yeah, that was, I find it, this TV movie I think is got a lot of like goofy moments. In some ways it's very stupid.
I bring up Captain EO at the very beginning of this to draw that resemblance, because both of them are extraordinarily campy in a way that you don't typically see, or especially in the context of Doctor Who. We're so used to seeing something that is rather polished. It holds itself to a certain esteem because it is Doctor Who and because it is the BBC. But I feel like because this is and isn't BBC Doctor Who, there's a little bit of that wiggle room that's like, oh, we can
play the space a little bit.
We can make this a little cheesy.
Yeah.
We can have fun with this in a way that we haven't been able to in the past.
I will say I can't imagine this being a good introduction to the show, which I think is part of why it didn't succeed. I think this is a good like new part of the show. Like if you had come back from watching the Seventh Doctor and you wanted more,
even if you were somebody who had watched 4.
Yeah. Like if you have a history with Doctor Who.
If you were young in the 70s, you know, you were a little kid.
Yeah.
Watching 4 and then took a little bit of a break, grew up, and then went, oh, Doctor Who on TV. Okay, cool.
But when I think about Rose, the first episode of the new series, and compare it to this, I do think there's some really like obvious, just like this movie buckles under its own weight in a way that, you know, it doesn't have that problem if it's if it's part of the larger show. But if you're trying to like make this the jumping off point for this new series, it's doing a lot.
Frankly, I think it's doing a lot because the main antagonist is the Master.
Yes, I would agree.
Yes, that is like famously the Master.
Yeah, you're bringing in one of his classic
Doctor's,
nemesis.
But it is not as compelling to watch as Cyberman or Nasty Boy Dalek.
Or even like in Rose, they give you a very simple villain in the Autons.
I mean, but if you're doing something based off of what is an iconic baddie in this show.
Yeah.
Choosing we'll just say another man to be the adversary of a man is not as compelling as having this character fighting robots or aliens or something completely unfamiliar.
I feel like trying to do the like iconic nemesis thing was probably was one of the mistakes they made. I think that because it's a lot of weight to bring in alongside all the other exposition you have to deal with.
I mean, I disagree. I think that having something that is recognizable is a wonderful idea, but recognizability is the key term here. The Master is not recognizable. Yeah. Putting him in his stupid Gallifreyan robes, yes, that helps, because then the second you see that, if that is a memory that is buried deep in your mind and you see the very like familiar peaks and like shoulder pads and bits and baubles, then that's something that you go, oh yeah, I do remember seeing that. That is something that lives rent free in the very back of my mind palace, as opposed to you don't even have to be a fan of the show or know what the show is to know that Dalek, like that robots and like these robot monsters are the Doctor's enemies, you know? So I think there's something to be said of having the Doctor's main adversary be just a man, effectively. Because even if it was the Master, but he did take on this, like... Is it Terminator I'm thinking of? Where they have that, like... They're made out of, like, nanobots. So they are, like, liquidy and, like, silver. If they'd had the Master take on some kind of form in that capacity, where he's not taking over a human body, he is simply, like, altering and changing his form with the light to appear human, but he is an unsustainable like liquid form that just simply appears to be human, but he cannot do that for longer than the day. Because I think that's the other part of it. Because there's something to be said of like the master the entire time is losing his body. He is on his 13th regeneration. He is going to die. Yet he's able to possess this human body. Why can't he just stay in that vessel? There's no justification for why he can't do that. So even his reasoning for wanting to off the doctor is not super valid and not super compelling because we're already seeing him taking over this other body, you know?
Yeah. And I wonder if it would have felt more appropriate if they had found an actor that had Roger Delgado's like goatee. Because Anthony Ainley also carried over that goatee, so that was that became a bit of iconography for the Master. Was that the two actors to play that character the longest both had this like very villainous like goatee. In that same article that I had mentioned earlier, they also have a list of actors that they had considered to play the Master in this.
Okay.
I don't think
it's the same list again.
I don't think Eric Roberts did a bad job. I don't think he was the right choice for this, though. I don't think he
played a fine villain, but that's
I don't think
fine villain. He wasn't compelling in the way that the Master should be.
So the initial the initial casting option that Fox had like approved of, and that the producer also liked, was Christopher Lloyd.
Interesting. Judge Doom.
However, Christopher Lloyd was really expensive, and by the time Fox came around to agreeing to the amount of money he wanted, Christopher Lloyd was no longer available. Yeah, so some other actors that that they drew up included Dan Aykroyd.
No.
David Bowie.
Okay, cool.
Steve Buscemi.
Okay, cool.
Chevy Chase.
No.
Once again, Tim Curry.
Okay, cool. Yes, love that.
Once again, Timothy Dalton.
Okay, cool. Love that.
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my God! Sorry, just...
Dennis Hopper. For some reason, Mick Jagger, who I don't think has ever acted in anything. I think they picked him just because they wanted a famous British person on the list.
Could you just imagine the Master just, okay. I can't do it because it's late.
Yes.
No.
Ben Kingsley.
Interesting.
Christopher Lee.
Okay, yeah.
John,
that was my soul leaving my body because that would have been... That's the best cast.
John Lithgow.
Okay. Interesting.
John Malkovich.
Okay.
Bill Murray. Jonathan Pryce again. Martin Sheen. Kevin Spacey. We didn't know this stuff about him at the time. And no fewer than 4 actors from Star Trek: The Next Generation, including Michael Dorn, Jonathan Frakes, Brent Spiner, and Patrick Stewart.
Okay, but
they also specifically extended offers to Kyle MacLachlan of Twin Peaks, Malcolm McDowell, and Tom Selleck and Sting.
Okay. Okay, so they had a star-studded selection. No tea, no shade.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't have gotten one of those other guys.
Now, I will say that at the time, Eric Roberts was a fairly well-known name. He had just gotten off being nominated for an Academy Award. He's Julia Roberts' brother, and so he's doing a lot. Apparently, Eric Roberts also watched the show in the 70s and grew up and liked it. There's a part of him where I think he wanted to do the role. He apparently asked for more money than even Christopher Lloyd did. So it's funny that they had like dragged their feet on Christopher Lloyd because he was so expensive, and then Universal picked Eric Roberts, who was even more expensive.
Like Eric Roberts, who's even more expensive. I wonder how much Christopher Lee would have been.
I don't know, because I don't think he was that. I don't know how big he was at the time, because this would have been before like Lord of the Rings, but well after he had done like Dracula.
There is a lot to talk about. There is a lot to unpack, but overall, I do think that this is a satisfactory film.
Yeah.
Which is also astonishing for me.
Yeah.
To say.
And
To have something that I can walk away from saying, okay, like this feels like something I might revisit, if for no other reason than like, you know.
Which is also interesting, is I don't feel like you felt that way about Rose, which I think is way better for like a new viewer. But when we watched the Rose, the episode.
At this point in time, I would like to go back and rewatch some of the first things, just because I am now entrenched in it and my opinions might change. And, you know, we could make it into like a little game of some kind. If our listeners think that would be a fun thing for us to do. But this right out the gate does feel like something that is approachably rewatchable, if for no other reason than there is no other form for me to watch Paul McGann. My Victorian boy doctor.
and I think that part of what makes this movie so strong is the performance of Paul McGann.
Yes.
He
gets it so fast.
Yeah.
He locks into the character so fast.
Yeah, he understands the assignment. He has got like energy and like
he has ideas for it.
Yeah, he's engaging to watch. He makes not weird choices, but like specific choices. Like he does when he does those little tippy taps with the shoes. He doesn't just go like these shoes. He goes like these shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that communicated well in audio, but hopefully they understood. And I am sad that he did not get to have like a proper run. There's always talk, especially happened when Disney Plus picked up Doctor Who. But there's every couple of years there's a rumor going around that they're going to do a spin-off series that's the Eighth Doctor's adventures, that Paul McGann, because Paul McGann's still alive, he's still acting, he's still a very handsome man. He's not like this youthful babe that he is in this one, but he shows up, he does stuff. He's
the ghost of a Victorian man now.
Yeah, he is still
Not
acting, so
boy.
they easily could bring him back if they wanted to, and in more than just a picture. So there's always a rumor coming around that they want to do that show. So hopefully one day they will, because I would like to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but we've got other stuff we got to get to because we've talked for a long time about this one, but we're gonna talk. We might even talk longer next week because next week we're gonna see the origin of your Nasty Boys. The original Nasty Boy story, the Daleks, the first Doctor story.
Excited.
Because while it is not the first story of Doctor Who, I think in many ways that is where Doctor Who became a thing. And so I consider it to be the real like birthplace of what Doctor Who has become.
It's the K-pop demon hunters of Doctor Who.
Yes.
It was a sneaky success.
So we will find out about that on the next episode of Who Is My Doctor?
Who is my doctor?
Who is indeed? Look, I know it's also called The Enemy Within, but that's not nearly as much fun as saying, Doctor Who, the movie! Now, is it? Thank you all for listening to another episode. I hope you all enjoyed it very much. If you did, be sure you are subscribed wherever you're listening right now so you can get updates for every episode in the future. If you'd like to support us directly, you can find us over on Patreon at patreon.com/whoismydoctor, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to episodes of this podcast a whole week early. That's right, if you want to hear Cassie's reaction to the origin story of her Nasty Boys, you can get that right now for as little as $1 over at patreon.com/whoismydoctor. Special thanks, as always, go to our Big Daddy Dalek patrons Andrew Blewett, David Gansel, Travis Aiken, Julian Erlebacher, and Daniel Lindgren. Next week, we finish Cassie's sampler platter of all the classic Doctors, finishing off with the first. So we'll see you next Tuesday, because your Tuesdays are now Who's Days.